Chris Gibbs, co-trainer of Danzdanzdance, joins us from Sydney, where he's with the star mare preparing for the Colgate Optic White. Have you brushed your teeth this morning? Chris, not a question for you. More, how is your mare?
She's very well, Jason. Thank you very much. She's been licking the bowl the last probably 3 days, which is great. So she had a couple of days to settle in, and then had a look at her this morning, and we just give her a little bit of a canter, make sure everything's all right. And the report back from Glenn, our foreman, was very, very good. So, watched her work, and she just went straight for breakfast. So we're really pleased with her.
Given her travel experience, do you think that's really starting to shine through now with how she's coping with a trip like this?
Definitely. It's got to be a big help to her. She's gone back into the same yard she's used to. She's been there twice now. She knows exactly where she is. She's very settled and happy. So, and we're over, I guess, on the up this time, which is something that we've always sort of gone over probably towards the end, or at least right at the end of the campaign the last two times. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how she handles it all. But the track shouldn't worry her, hopefully, and we'll see how we go.
Just about to ask about conditions. Obviously, what's the overhead looking like at the moment, and what are you expecting to see from the track? A track that she'll like?
Yeah, track's come right back. They've had a lot of wind here yesterday, no rain. Quite a drying day as well. Like, it got quite sunny, and then it clouded over. It's fairly overcast at the moment, but the wind's right up. So it's going to be a sort of a drying, where it gets a little bit sticky, Jason, something like that. But she's been on that before. I don't think that's going to be an issue. It's just whether she'll step up against these good horses again over here. And I'd just love to see her probably get a decent line on where we sit as far as these horses are, in Australia.
Yeah, Dan O'Sullivan said that at best ratings he'd expect Danzdanzdance to be very competitive. We're watching now her run in the Tarzino Trophy, where she settled back on the inside, took the rail, and managed to get into fifth position. How did you assess that run, Chris, and align that with what you wanted to see from her with regards to today?
Yeah, I think it was probably a little bit hard to get a line on it, to be fair. I mean, she went good enough for us to not change our plans. I wouldn't get carried away and said that she just absolutely flew. She sort of found the line nicely for a first up run, no trials or anything. And I suppose, I had to forgive her a little bit, because I don't think she really likes on the inside much. If you see all of her runs, she likes to get out in the open and just get a little bit of open space, and that's when she seems to find her best turn of foot. So at least I had no choice but to go in there, and I think it was a really good run. So, as far as a nice run to get us going and on our way to head over here, I was happy with it without being, over the moon, like ecstatic about the run, put it that way.
Tommy Berry has been engaged to ride Danzdanzdance. What will your instructions be, and what will you be telling her about her and the things that he should be aware of?
Probably what we just talked about, just about getting her, trying to keep her in the open. She's drawn beautifully to get a run. There's pace in the race. There's sort of 3 or 4 that'll go forward. I would like to think that from her draw, she'd end up about 3 back, 1 off. That would be ideally where I'd probably like to be. But it's up to Tommy and how she jumps. I think the big thing is she's been over before, and as a 3-year-old, she was at the end of her campaign, so there was no worry. She wasn't over racing or doing anything like that. I think she just struck tracks that went really suitable, and she did. Well, mind you, she did over race a little bit in the Vinery. Then she came over and really over raced in the Ranvet. Still hit the line nicely, and then of course they got the tongue over and did all sorts of things wrong against Winks of all times to do it. But so the big thing for Tommy would be just to pop her out, get her to settle, hopefully get a little bit of cover, and try and avoid getting on the fence, I think. But we'll be keeping an eye on how those races are playing out, since they have moved back into fresh ground, right onto in true position. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
This is a Group 1 race in its own right, but what are you thinking if things go well for her today, deeper into the campaign? What races are you thinking with Danzdanzdance?
We were always keeping a very close eye on the weather. That's why we never committed to Victoria or New South Wales. We were just seeing what the weather was going to do, and we always made a decision, talking to the owners. We said, well, look, we'd really like to follow where the rain might be. I mean, she's proven that she does. That helps her a lot. So it was silly to to try and go against that. Certainly coming over here, there's good races here in Sydney. So if she went well, she would go on to the Hill Stakes, which is the 2,000 metre weight for age race in 2 weeks' time. And then if she went, God forbid she doesn't, but if she goes well, there is either the choice of the Craven Plate, which is another 2 weeks later, and they're good $500,000 races in weight for age, 2,000 metres. But if she was absolutely flying, I suppose she does hold a nomination for the Cox Plate, but she'd have to really be top of the game, and because that's just another level up again, Jason, as you know.
Yeah, sure is, but she's a quality mare. She's one of our best, so the current middle distance horse of the year. So here's to a good campaign for Danzdanzdance. Horse that's on the rise in some respects is Hello It's Me. She was thrown in against the weight for age gallopers last preparation, and she was pretty good at Ellerslie, wasn't she? When she was able to place behind Centimillion and Lizzie Lamore in the OMF Stakes. She's up against Melody Bell, but she's 2 from 2 this preparation, Chris. You must be pretty pleased, and the team must be pretty pleased with Hello It's Me.
Yeah, look, I know it's on a home track, and there was a bit of a gap between runs. We freshened her specifically for 1,200. It was just a race that we wanted to use really to bring her on for a crack at the Windsor Park Plate. So, and to beat Avantage was great. I know the other mare didn't get the best of runs and things, but it's still, even if she'd run second to her, I think it gives us a really good line because, as you know, Avantage has been over here and performed and won big place in group company. So, give us a nice line on our mare. It's another massive step up, of course. You're taking on the great mare Melody Bell again, but she's a new one into the frame. She's drawn not too bad, so it's going to be interesting to see how they jump. I mean, it's such an awkward start from the mile. Really, it's just going to be up to Cameron. I'd like to think that he'd be a little bit positive and just pop her forward and then just see where she ends up. I don't know that I'd like to see him drag her out of the race. But look, that's something that once you leg the jockey up, he's got to make up his mind. But I think the plans would be to push forward a little bit and see where we end up.
Well, obviously, we've seen her over 2,000 metres a few times, winning at Ellerslie as a 3-year-old. You lined her up in the Livermore last year. She finished midfield. 1,600 metres today. How does that fit into the horse that you think she is and what might be her best trip?
Yeah, look, I think she'll run a super race. I mean, the fact that she ran good, nice time over 1,200, albeit on her home track. She's a mare that we've always had a few little niggly issues with. We think we've got her at the top of her game. She's shown no signs of any sort of injuries or anything like that. So I think she'll run a super race. She's the report from Michelle was that she licked the bowl, which is her first trip away. A second trip away, and she's done really well. So she's a big, totally different mare to Danzdanzdance. She's probably 100 kilos heavier. She's a big Darcy Brahma strong mare, and I think we've never really seen the best of her. So if we can just keep her sound, she's an exciting mare, and I think she'll go further. So she might even get a mile and a half. Who knows? So she's an exciting prospect, and just a mare that we've never really got the best out of. So this is going to be very, very interesting today.